Yes, guys, this is the instant reaction as Newcastle win 1-0 against Arsenal at St James's Park. Massive, massive 3 points off the back of that game at Old Trafford. 3-0 win. You know, even going into this Arsenal game, we knew we'd have changes. We expected the likes of the Geordies are singing on behind me as they make their way out of St James's Park. I've got to say, and we knew there would be changes coming into this one. We saw Trippier come back in. We saw Dan Burn come back in. We saw Gordon keep his place. The man who got the goal. Very happy to see him play. He was one player that I thought might not keep his place because he looked absolutely shattered coming off the end of that Manchester United game. I think that was one thing we learnt in that Manchester United game. There's some players in there. We saw Livramento come on later on. We even saw Matt Ritchie come on that little bit later on. We have players in that squad who are better than cut players. I think maybe Ritchie can do his part, but the likes of a Livramento came on. Amazing. Tino, he got his recognition for everything he did in that game. The lads continue singing over there. And as great as we were against Manchester United on Wednesday, this was a bit of a different kettle of fish for me because we know how poor Manchester United have been of late. Arsenal are a good side. I have to say, structured, physical, disciplined. We were playing a very good side in this game. You think back to 2 seasons ago when we beat them and we stopped them getting that Champions League football. We played them last season and they got a little bit of revenge, didn't they? Because we did not hold our own too great last season. Going into this time around, we've seen how good they've been. If I'm not mistaken, we're undefeated in the Premier League until tonight at St James's Park. The changes from them of last year into this year, they've got the likes of a Declan Rice. And I have to say, even watching that game as a Newcastle fan, when Declan Rice gets on the ball, he always has space. He always has space. He always knows where to stand. Every ball he plays looks good. They have got some really good players in there. And going into this one, we knew it was going to be tough. We knew it was not going to be a walk in the park. Added to that, by the way, one of the worst refereeing displays I think I can remember in a long time. I said it in my vlog. Will be out later on, so be sure to subscribe. Do not miss out on that video. And I will say as well, go and check out the Patreon as well. Link down in the description. I've opened it up to as free. So if you want to get some extra content away from YouTube, get on Patreon. Follow for free, join for free, get some extra content on the separate platform. Do it for the Newcastle win. But yes, we knew playing the Arsenal team, they'd be good. You know, Arteta has got this team really whipped into shape, and I think they showed that in the game. You could go in that first half. There was one shot on target in the whole first half, which Nick Pope saved. Really, the biggest thing of the first half was the tackle on Longstaff. Which again brings me back to the referee. I'm hoping he enjoyed his 5 minutes of fame tonight, to be honest, because he was absolutely, without swearing, terrible. For the tackle on Longstaff, we got 3 yellow cards. I think Longstaff got booked, Shaw got booked, and Bruno or Trippier got booked, and they didn't get a red. No. If that challenge had have been an inch to the left, that isn't a red card, that is a 10-game ban. Honestly, and a potential career-ending tackle on Longstaff. So to not give a red for such a high challenge on a player is totally beyond me. And I felt like the ref lost it in that game. I didn't feel like he controlled the players whatsoever. I think Bruno was getting so wound up at one point. I thought we would get him down this tunnel at half-time before he does something silly as well. But coming out the end of that first half, as I say, pretty end-to-end, 2 good teams, 2 good presses, and I'm going into the second half thinking, what can we make happen here? And as I've mentioned already, we didn't have loads of depth, we didn't have loads of changes to make. The one change we did make at half-time was Dan Burn going off and Tino Livramento coming on. One thing that people have talked about quite a lot is the possibility of Newcastle actually trying Trippier at left-back and bringing Livramento in on the right. The reason I think it worked today was because Dan Burn isn't necessarily very high pressing. It meant that the likes of Martinelli or just And I think we saw this the last time we played Arsenal. We see this sometimes when we play against attacking wingers. It's fair enough. You want him to defend. Like, Dan Burn is not an attacking left-back. You want him to stand on the edge of our box and make sure that Saka and Martinelli aren't getting in through on goal. But the trouble with that is if you're just stood on the halfway line the whole time, they don't have to defend. They've got nothing to worry about in behind them. So it's important to have, at times, a different player who can do different things. I'm not saying drop Dan Burn. Absolutely not. What I'm saying is that in certain circumstances, you have to be flexible. And again, I think that's what we saw against Manchester United. There is the opportunity to bring on different players. Livramento is a different player to Trippier. Trippier would not have had the pace that Livramento had to get down that right-hand side, cross it in for Miggy to score the goal. So it was important that we made those little changes, not dropping players for the end of the season, nothing like that, but just making those changes that can make a difference. And we did make some substitutions that I thought at the time were a little bit out there. You know, we saw Callum Wilson go off, we saw Miggy go off, we saw Murphy come on and Willett come on. Now, I was extremely happy to see Willett come onto the pitch because he's a player that totally ran the show at Manchester United, got the goal. We've spoken about how the fact that we've missed Willett this season. Dortmund's up next, lads. The fact that we were able to have a Willett come on for that Manchester United game, bring that pace back in the midfield. Joelinton and Bruno Longstaff, amazing. What they don't have is that explosive pace that Willett can bring to a side. And in straight away coming out in that game, he brought it with him. And that's what led to the goal. The ball that... I have seen a couple of images, and the VAR, by the way, took about 10 minutes, which again, if we're not already having a useless game off the referee, the fact that VAR has taken that amount of time for a clear and obvious error. If it's not clear and obvious, then it shouldn't be taking 10 minutes to look at it. Did the ball go in or out? I'm on the other side of the stadium, so I can't tell you. I will get in the pub very soon and watch the replays back. Am I bothered whether it went out? Not really, because it counted. But then it went on to be, was it a foul? Then it went to be, is it an offside? And at that point, I'm just thinking, you know, what's the point of it all? I suppose we've got to celebrate it twice because we've got to celebrate it a second time. But just really, you know, come on. And Gordon gets the goal. The man that I thought would have been rested because he would have been too tired. Well, he had different ideas today. He was the man who stole the show. He was the man who put the ball in the back of the net. And then it became all attention to see the game out and take the win. And we still had a couple of opportunities. They did put the pressure on close at the end of the game. So obviously Murphy, as I say, came on. Murphy came off very quickly, looking like he had potentially dislocated his shoulder again. So that's another negative to take out of that one. Dan Burn went off. I think that was possibly more tactical than injury-wise, but we'll have to wait in here. And we do move on to Dortmund on Tuesday, which I am going to. So if you're enjoying these instant reactions, if you're enjoying the vlogs, if you're enjoying the Patreon, go and check it out. We will have all the more over in Dortmund this upcoming week. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. As I say, 3 points is 3 points. A win is a win. To do it on a night under the lights at St James's with a referee who had a nightmare, and against a side like Arsenal, they are good. We turned up today and we made it count. Thank you for watching, guys. Drop a like if you are happy to see the win. Yeah, and I'll see you in Dusseldorf and Dortmund very soon. Catch you later.